Okay. Food is an amusing oddity, to say the least. It's a simple concept in theory. It almost seems trivial to ask about something like the importance of food, as due to the fact that in order to properly have your body function and in theory continue to exist as a living sentient creature, sustenance in the form of food needs to be consumed. What's so enticing, however, is the many ways in which food can be transformed. Dare I say, it almost seems magical. This transformation, usually invoked by the process of heat being added to certain ingredients, or certain ingredients with varying states of physical consistency being put together, results in the food being perceived as less of a necessity and more of a lusty, desirable item one wishes to attain. However, there is a form of food that is looked on with such envious mouth-watering lust that I desire to know why. Anime food. 2D food. Food that does not align itself with our dimension and is not attainable by us, it is looked on and revered with such, at times, unhinged desire. Why? Well, I am so very glad that you asked. I eagerly began to research to try and answer this intriguing kerfuffle, and have possibly found out the reason for why people find anime food so appetizing to look at, such as yourself. First, it's important to acknowledge that there are various factors that play a role in whether or not food is found appetizing, such as smell, taste, and the most important one in accordance to this specific question, sight. Sight appears to play a very crucial role in the desire to eat something. After all, would one prefer to be served a stone-gray piece of dismembered dead heated cow flesh, or a savory, juicy, plump, healthy glow piece of cow flesh? Presentation, turns out, highly influences the inhibitions and thoughts of a person in the presence of food. Then what is it about the presentation that leads people to become so enamored? Well, you see, I believe it's largely attributed to the emphasized, vibrant, and almost unreal appearance of these foods. Food in our 3D human world doesn't look like this. Food within the 2D realm of existence is often made to look as perfect as possible to what the specific food is supposed to look like. If the food were to be envisioned in the most perfect way possible, this would likely be the result. As this incorporates even the most minute of details, the food appears more lively and vibrant, and appears to have the correct amount of light shining on it at all times, accompanied by perfectly shadowed areas to accentuate certain bits, and to truly allow the food as a whole to trigger a response in the brain of the viewer, causing dopamine levels to rise at the anticipation, the desire, the intrusive thoughts begin to barge in, inquiring about the possible texture and flavor that is resounded with the glistening hot or cold delight. Then you're met with sorrow and pain as you come to realize that, like your waifu, this isn't real, and you never are going to be able to taste it in an actual literal physical sense. I know, big sag. But, curiously enough, upon researching 3D specimens and analyzing the way in which food is perceived in the normal 3D world, while at times it can be looked on with eager, sultry eyes, it's not nearly to the levels that they have when in the view of anime food. Even if it's the exact same food, presented in the exact same way, it doesn't have nearly the same effect as if it's perceived in the 2D space. This could be attributed to all the previously mentioned visual buffs, if you will. This could also be caused by the fact that such a thing is unattainable. At times, when something is unattainable, it triggers a feeling of helplessness and an even deeper longing to have it subconsciously. Again, this is likely due to the fact that the food looks essentially perfect, and perfection is something unattainable. So while the viewing of this food satiates the hunger visually, it can't physically, much like your waifu. However, not too unlike your waifu, it can elicit positive emotions when viewed, as sight is one of the most confounding propagators of emotions. Sight, as well, allows for a preview of a good time, if you will. In this instance, inducing dopamine to be released as stated, and it's worth noting that food is often associated with positive feelings and memories, thus allowing the desire to consume to become ever greater. It's pretty much all there is to it. It's really not as confounding as it would seem. All in all, people like food, but they especially love food if it's presented in a very visually pleasing, ostentatious way. And with that, if you guys enjoyed this video, theoretically, if you have watched this further and you do enjoy my videos, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, share this with your neighbor, high school teacher, and wife, and I'll be back to answer another question non-scientists can answer.